The pellet guns used in this video run entirely off compressed air. They use no propellants such as gunpowder and must not be confused with any form of actual or tactical firearm. All airgun shooting in this video is done on my own private shooting range in a clear and open area. Remember folks, I'm what you call a professional, but be careful if you try this at home. All right, now that we got that mess out of the way, people have been, I got a couple of emails, people asking me about, to elaborate on the issue that I had with the Beeman 1358 22 caliber bullpup underlever cocking pre-charged pneumatic rifle. And so I've got the rifle here. I'm going to show you a couple of things on it. And but before I do that, here is the magazine. And so what I'm going to show you is what the problem with, what the issue was. First off, the magazine, other than the fact that it's plastic and really lightweight, is not a bad design. I like that it has a round counter that sticks out on the sides. You can see how many shots you've fired and how many you can come back to. Now the issue is when you take this clear cover off, under the rotating wheel there is a coil spring. And the issue was that there was no preload on the coil spring. What do I mean by preload? I'm going to show you. So watch how the magazine, when I turn it here, watch how it springs backwards. Can you see that? I'm going to turn it a few turns. See? Okay, so what happens is as you load the magazine, you turn it, and as it gets over here, it'll stay in position. As you fire a round, okay, the magazine moves one position over until you get back to number one. You fire that one, and then you're empty. The problem was there was no preload. So the first 2 or 3 slots there would turn, and there was nothing to make it spin. After that, there was some preload on the spring, and it would cycle for the most part up to that point. This is where you insert it, and I ran it in and out of the slot a few times, like a dozen times, to loosen it up because it was very tight fitting. Now, if you get the Beeman and you have that problem, check to see if you have spring tension on this wheel or not. If there's no spring tension, you remove this screw, remove the clear cover, lift up on the rotating wheel here. You'll see the round spring, and it has an arm on the bottom and an arm on the bottom. Arm on the bottom, an arm on the top. Those engage a hole in the body and a hole in the rotating wheel. Once you have that, allow the wheel to kind of stand up a little bit, spin it one full turn, and then insert it. Put the clear cover back on, and when you insert it, hold on to it right here so that it doesn't pop back up. Clear cover back on. Do not get crazy tightening down this screw. If you do, you will crack this clear cover. So be very careful. It doesn't need to be really tight. It actually just needs to be tight enough to hold this down. That's all it does. It doesn't need to be really, really super tight. All right. Again, these magazines, other than the fact that they're cheaply made, they're plastic. If these were made of aluminum, these things would be really good. Now that I've got this spring tension corrected, and I corrected it on both of them, they were both not proper, it seems to function as it should. I've not had any more failure to feeds or anything. I was having to cycle it manually as it got down there, and then as you can see, there's a round counter for when you're shooting. You can see how many shots you've got left. So this is the only mag I've ever seen that had that on it. Now, another thing people were asking me about was, what is a moderator? Okay, so these launchers, I hate to call them guns, but I may at some point do that. They're actually launchers. Expel a blast of gas, and that blast of gas makes noise. Okay. Now, if you're driving the bullet in excess of, I think it's 850 or 860 at sea level feet per second, you're going to get a sonic boom. It's just a crack. It's a minor crack. But that is a separate noise from the launcher, the rifle, discharging. This particular rifle is pretty loud. It is not backyard friendly if you live in an urban area. Most of the PCP rifles, PCP, pre-charged pneumatic rifles that I handle, are not a problem when it comes to sound suppression. And that's what we're doing with a moderator. Moderator is a gas moderator, an air moderator. Okay. I want to show you the one on the Beeman here in just a minute. They use a lot of different things. And in fact, they have a lot of aftermarket. There's a company called Donnie FL, for instance. There's another one, I forget the name of it, but there's several out there, and you can actually find some of them on eBay even, that sell external moderators for PCP, pre-charged pneumatic rifles and pistols. And you'll get various results from them depending upon the application. There is no one-size-fits-all kind of thing in the world of sound suppression, unfortunately. But let's go to the Beeman, and I can show you a couple of things here. Okay, first off, we're going to clear this to ensure that it is safe. We're going to set the safety. Here is the safety. Safety is on. Here is the under lever cocking handle. Pull that back. You see the right here. You're going to see the pellet probe. See it right there moving? Pellet probe moves out of place. Okay, I'm looking at the chamber. The chamber is clear. There is nothing. There are no projectiles in this. Now, in order to decock it, you have to hold the lever, safety off, pull the trigger, let the lever go forward slowly. Safety back on. There is no ammunition nearby. Do not have any ammunition in this studio. There you see the air pressure gauge. It's difficult to see, but it is there, and that is it was charged to 3,000 psi when I did the chronographing yesterday, and it is now at about 1,500 psi, and that is because I did some plinking with it to zero the red dot after I was done. So that's about 30 shots through this. That's not bad, and it really didn't start to fall significantly, and it's still in the green zone, but it didn't fall significantly until I got past this second mag. It was about 20 shots. All right, each one of those magazines that I just showed you in 22 caliber are 10 shots. I'm sorry. Here is the fill. It takes a standard Foster fitting. I believe it's 8mm, but don't quote me on that. But it's a standard Foster fitting, mini Foster fitting. Has a nice dust cover. The moderator is in the barrel. This is actually a shroud over the barrel, and I'm going to remove it. Now, the criticism that these rifles get is that a lot of the componentry is plastic. This includes the barrel shroud. So what I'm going to do is unscrew this. It's going to take a second. Let me set this down where I can get a little better grip on things. There. Now, here you have the actual barrel, and I can tell you it's dirty. I usually, when I first get these, I will chronograph them. Let me put this down. I'll chronograph them, and then I'll clean the barrel and chronograph them again to get a feel for what they're doing as they come out of the box. Okay, and then I'll clean the barrel. The barrel comes tightly greased, very well greased, and they do that to protect it from corrosion and whatnot. Now, grease creates drag, and I can tell you that will hurt your accuracy and it will hurt your velocities. And I'm unscrewing this as we talk. So after you clean it, your accuracy will improve, and so will your feet per second. Your velocities will go up. Okay, so here is the barrel shroud, and it's just a piece of tubing, plastic tubing. And then this is the Beeman version of a moderator. It is not very efficient. It's not very good. Donnie FL sells an adapter that will replace this, that's threaded so that you can add an external suppressor. But it does help. I popped off a couple of shots without this in place yesterday, and I can tell you it does help some. But you can see it's just a series of deflective baffles with a hole in the middle. That's it. Let's see if I can get this back in. You also notice it's dirty because I have not yet gotten to clean this one. Let's see if I can get it to go back in there. It's got some O-rings on it, and the O-rings are going to be difficult, of course. Get in there, you. All right, I'll assemble this later off camera. But as you can see, there's not a lot of science that goes there. Got it in there. That go into these moderators, these air moderators. They're pretty basic, pretty simple, and a lot of them duplicate suppressors that go on powder burning firearms. Now, the Beeman gets a lot of criticism because a lot of the componentry is plastic. This is plastic, this cover here. The action is metal. This shroud here is plastic. This is made of plastic, but it's well-built plastic. It's not cheap, flimsy stuff. This stuff doesn't flex. The wood stock has a recoil absorbing butt pad on it. I don't know why it doesn't kick that much. Nice wood stock. They kind of cut a corner here instead of making a trigger guard. They just cut it out of the wood. You know, I guess maybe that helps to save a few dollars on the expenses of manufacturing a rifle. Now you will find some stuff like these screws here are a little boogied up. Like whoever put them together didn't do a very good job. Didn't have the right tool, something. All right, let me set this aside. But I showed, I did a community post yesterday and showed you guys what I paid for that rifle. And it was, I think I said it was $245. It was actually like $236, I believe it was. You can look in the community post from yesterday and see the actual receipt from the purchase of that rifle. For that kind of money, this is a value that is very hard to beat. I've seen other reviewers that had no problem with the accuracy. I'm going to do a little more experimenting with extracting more accuracy from it and quieting it down. I have a suppressor coming and an adapter for the suppressor to mount on the barrel. That will make it a little bit longer. It's going to add about 6 inches to the length of the barrel, but if it quiets it down, hey, it'd be worth it. A lot of you live in urban areas, and being able to shoot in your backyard is a great benefit. So It is what it is. What would you use this for? I've got a red dot on there right now. I have not mounted the Beeman scope, and I don't know that I will. This isn't something I'm going to be shooting at 100 yards. It's probably not something I'm going to be shooting out at 50 yards. I think most of my shooting with this is going to be in the 25 to 35 yard range. And I think that is where it's optimized for. So if you just want something to play with, to plink with, shoot up tin cans, it's perfect for that. It's absolutely perfect for that. I have put more. I got that AEA semi-auto carbine the day before I got this, and I have put way more rounds through this than I have that. I'm having a blast with this little thing, and it's like I said. Now that the magazine issue is resolved, it is gobbling up anything I put through it. So if you were going to use it for something more serious, say pest control, it'd be perfectly fine for that. And I don't think you're going to be doing a lot of pesting unless you're bird pesting out past 25, 35 yards. And again, it's fine for that. And I believe that, like I said, for what it cost, that it is a very, very good selection for that. You know, if you just want to get your feet wet on air guns, air launchers, it's a good starting point. Absolutely a good starting point. And, you know, you go from there. It's with all the pick rails on it and stuff, you can add flashlights, you can add lasers, you can go crazy and put all kinds of stuff all over that thing. Side mount bipod, whatever. I don't know what else to tell you. Like I said, I have probably put more rounds through that thing in the 2 days I've had it than all the others put together. I have had that much fun with that little thing. So that should tell you something. All right, guys, that's it. I hope you got the information you were wanting from this. Here this week, later this week, I'm going to go to my range. It's at my new home that's being constructed, and it's a county away, so it's a drive, but it's not that far. So I will be getting out to do some shooting tomorrow and Tuesday, or Tuesday. We've got good weather coming, so I'm looking forward to getting to finish up the big bullpup, the 357. Finish up shooting that, getting some more information on that, and I'm going to do a tuning video for the Byrna HD SD. I'm going to show you how to tune it for max velocity, or max air usage, or the balance of both. So you can look for that later this week as well. Thanks for popping in and watching, guys. I appreciate y'all liking and subscribing to the channel, and I hope you find something useful here. Y'all be safe and have a good night.